Okay, so here we are again. This time we're working on the third portion of the video for the introduction to the Gingerbread Applique Village project. What we need to do in this video is to illustrate how to create your FCMs using your Embroidery Essentials. So that's what we'll be doing, and we will create an SVG and an FCM so that we can use it straight in our ScanNCuts. And for those who have other cutting machines that happen to be members of our group can also create SVGs if they have Embroidery Essentials. One thing we do need to note here is that these satin stitches finishing the outline of the front porch or the portico and the entryway here to the church are all a satin stitch, and they're in a pale peachy color satin stitch. If we go over here to our objects window and scroll down to where they are, it's color number 14, you can see that it's Brother Embroidery Applique Position Stitches. And we really don't want to confuse anything by letting those stay. She evidently the designer at Bunny Cup, who has granted her permission to use these designs in this tutorial, wanted this to be a light peachy color for the front of the church here. But that happens to be the color that is involved in creating our FCMs, so we don't want to confuse ourselves with this. So we're going to click on that and change the color because they do look rather kind of tan color. We'll change those stitches to Brother Embroidery Khaki thread color and just say OK, and that's it. So now we won't run the risk of selecting those and having yet another cutting element that we really don't need. So what we're going to do is select the first ones, which are Brother Applique Position. I'm going to select that. Whoops, wrong one. Hold down the Control key and select that. And then the next one is Brother's Applique Material. We can ignore that. That's the tack down stitches. Brother Embroidery Applique, that is the steeple. We'll select that one. Number 4 is Brother Applique Material. That's the tack down of the steeple. We can ignore that one. Brother Applique Position, which is the portico here, and we will select that one. So we've got the 3 elements that we need for this. And we've got them. We held down the Control key as we clicked on each one, so they are the 3 showing right down here. Now you'll recall when we were doing this with the PE Design software that the left front of the church and the right front of the church were as one unit. And when we were to send it to our ScanNCut without breaking those apart and having them as 2 separate units, then we would end up with a rectangular selection around them. It would be difficult to adjust the increase by millimeters because it would increase the rectangular selection rather than the 2 separate elements. So we don't have to worry about that in Essentials. So now that we have the 3 elements comprising our FCM files selected, we're going to turn them all the same color. You see we've got the first one here is Brother Embroidery Applique Position. And then the second one she used Brother's Embroidery Applique color, and then another one of Applique Position. And what we want to do is use all 3 of these at one time to create our series of FCMs and SVGs. So I'm going to click one color and go over here and choose a color that is not used anywhere else. So now they're all 3 Brothers Electric Blue. The color really doesn't matter. It's just isolating these 3 elements from the rest of the embroidery design. So with these selected and turned blue, just like I said, just to isolate them, has nothing to do with any color sort. We'll select the first color and we will go to the pop-up window that comes up and says Applique. By default, it's going to say not applique. We're going to tell it that we want it to be applique position. This does not change any thread colors. This just tells the software that these are the elements that we want to use for the applique position. So we've got it at 2.1 millimeter inflation. And if I move this over and click on simulated, it shows me the parts that will be appliqued. This is pretend fabric. In the blue fabric. So there's the steeple, there's the left side and the right side of the church front, and then there's the large portico here. Just to show you what is selected, what will be involved in this transition. So we'll turn that back off. It's just a visual aid, and click Save All. And we will name it then Gingerbread Village Church 1 EE, and say yes. We will replace that and save all, and save it again with that name, but this time we will make it an FCM and save that. Yes, we'll replace that. So now we have it all done. We will have the two fronts of the church, the portico, the front porch area here of the church, and the steeple, and they will have been created in the FCM and the SVG formats. That's using Embrilliance Essentials to make more than one FCM or SVG file from one embroidery applique design. So I hope this helps you, and if you don't use the PE design method of changing the thread colors and then doing it in the ScanNCut 550 or 650 machine, if you have a different model machine and therefore can't use an embroidery design in the ScanNCut machine, this is the ideal way to do it right here with the Embroidery Essentials software. So I hope that helps, and the next time you hear from me will be just quickly showing you how it's done using Embird.